What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot, man.
Hell yeah. How's everything been?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
Thanks for
Can't,
joining me.
are you kidding? Sorry for the delay. Oh my, that meeting was supposed to end 12:45.
No, that's all right. You got a tightly packed schedule.
It's just these bastards. The old day job, you know?
Oh, I hear that, man. Trying to
Oh,
balance everything at once is ridiculous.
right? Insane. How'd you get into this? This is sweet.
Honestly, about a year ago, when COVID first hit, I was kind of just like sitting there, like I love watching podcasts, and I've always been an outgoing. Like I'm in sales by trade, like that's what I do for a living. So, just talking with new people and learning new stuff, and this is kind of the platform where you can awkwardly ask someone if they want to chat without it seeming fucking weird. So,
I love it. Hell yeah,
so
dude.
you did podcasts for a little bit, right? Like I started looking at your YouTube and stuff like that. Are you guys still doing it? Or are you getting back into it, or?
We're thinking about getting back into it. We're like so we worked with a company. I'm right in Boston, like right in the North End. So I'm like a stone's throw away from TD Garden, like where the Bruins play.
Nice.
And there was a media company actually underneath the Garden called Dirty Water Media. So we used to work with them to do a podcast. And then COVID hit and kind of everything like shut down there. But we're thinking about it. I love doing it. Like we used to do a live show every other Friday night at this bar down the street called The Greatest Bar. And it was a blast. It was just fun, like getting out, getting in front of people, and it was cool.
For sure.
So we're like an idea.
Yeah, definitely. And the hardest thing, like with the pandemic hitting and stuff, I guess it's not the hardest thing. There's a lot of worse stuff going on, but the Zoom thing is hard with like the delays and not being able to go in person and stuff. But definitely we'll reach out next year. I'm going to Boston to watch a Sox game. So,
oh hell yeah,
yeah,
yep.
I'm stoked to see the city for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to link up, man. Let me know when you're in town.
Yeah, definitely will. So before we jump into things, I'll let you know, like I said to you, everything is just recorded. I'll edit it all at the very end. At the very end, I'll say goodbye to you. And if you're not happy with something that had been said, right then and there, just tell me. I'll edit it out. No worries at all. It doesn't matter to me one bit. If you're not happy with it, I'm not happy with it. So, and then I'll give you the option. If you want me to send it to you before it actually airs, which will be a couple weeks from now, I can do that just so you have a once over. Make sure you like it, but we'll hop right into it if that's cool with you.
I'm all in. Let's do it.
All right, man. So I actually pre-recorded the entry because I try and do it in front of people and then I butcher it. Yeah. And then it just like starts off so awkward. So
same thing.
The amount of times I have to re-record is ridiculous. So I'll just start off by asking how you're doing and then we'll just start rolling.
Hell yeah.
Also, your video isn't being recorded unless you're speaking. Okay. So if you got to do anything and you don't want it on camera, when I'm speaking, you're not even being recorded unless other than your audio.
Gotcha. Good call.
All right. I don't know why I get nervous every time I start one of these things. Fuck. All right. Today I'm joined. Actually, before I even say that, is your last name Cooneyy?
Cooneyy. Cooney. Kevin Cooneyy.
I got it written down here. I just didn't want to say it wrong. Cooneyy. All right. Cool. All right. I'll do my best not to butcher it all the whole time.
You got it.
Today, I'm joined by Kevin Cooneyy. He's a viral sensation on TikTok. He has a blog that he does. He does this morning motivation thing, and I'm all in on it. It's awesome to hear from him. Kevin, thank you so much for sitting down with me. How are you doing today?
My man, you are a legend. I am good. Thank you so much for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm so stoked to sit down with you. Even just coming on here, you're already got me jazzed. Like I'm ready to go work out for the first time in a year. So that's pretty sick.
That's your daily dose of serotonin is right here. So
right here.
Yeah.
Staying dangerously caffeinated, if you will.
Exactly right. Yep. That's it right there.
So let's jump right into it. Like, how did you start? You're like, you know what? People want to hear from me. I'm here to spread some Monday motivation in the downtown of Boston. How did you jump into it?
No joke. It was this time last year. COVID's running wild. I'm at home doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And the motivation stuff, I fell into it like by accident. Honestly, I put up. I used to do 10 videos a day religiously, and not even on the motivation stuff. Just like funny skits, or like you'd see sounds on TikTok, and I would snag those and make my own like version of that.
Yeah.
Stupid dance routines, and I would do 10 videos every day for a year, and then over time my niche was kind of naturally found. I had one at the time I wasn't living in Boston. I was in Southern New Hampshire. And I was in my gym parking lot, and I had this this motivation video that like was the first viral one of my now many like morning
Yeah.
and I was like, huh? And then I got people commenting like, hey, you got to do one for me. My name's Amanda. Or, hey, could you do one for teachers? Could you do one for, gym goers and army and nurses? And I was like, ooh, this could be interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Here. And so I always internally gave myself these pep talks and never like put them on film. But once that one went viral, I was like, well, shit, I guess if it can benefit, if I do it internally and it helps me, maybe there's something to this. And then every morning since then, and that was probably 6-7 months ago, I've been doing a morning alarm every morning, and they've taken off ever since.
What I love about it is that you don't just like get the comment where like do one for teachers or do one for the army, whatever it is, and just jump into like teachers, you bad, beautiful bitches.
Right.
You start off with like you had the boat, the USS.
Yeah, Constitution.
And you're like the balls knock off it, just like you're gonna knock off the negativity. And it's just like that was one of the first ones that I saw like a couple weeks ago or like maybe a week ago. And I was just like, I'm fucking all in. Like, sign me up. Like, I need to open this up in the morning. This needs to get me out of bed because I'm not doing it for myself right now.
Yeah, I'm working on I'm trying to get them onto like hopefully end of this week they'll be on like iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, so that you can actually save them as your like morning alarm.
Oh my God.
That's my number one like DM right now. People are like, videos are sick, but how the heck do I get it on my phone like to actually ring in the morning? So that'll be the next thing for sure.
That's some dreams come true if I can wake up to you, bad, beautiful bitch.
That's what I'm saying. So it should, I'm hoping tail end of this week, I'm hoping to have those all on everywhere basically. So
that's wicked. You definitely need to start doing a podcast again, because like even the guy you were doing it with, you guys like you're joking, laughing, like it's wicked. Is that your coffee partner?
So that's my buddy Colin Began. We grew up together and we met in like the 4th grade, best friends ever since. We still hang out like every day. We're always still together. And so we basically like that podcast got started because those conversations is what we were having one-on-one. And we were like, gee, we always I feel like everyone says this now. It's like, oh, we need to film this. And then we actually did.
Yeah.
And we found like other people enjoyed it too. So it's something we're definitely going to get it back together. It's just a matter of timing for sure.
I get where you're at, where you're like, you're sitting there, and I've definitely had some drinks with some buddies, and you're like, man, everyone would want to hear this. We're hilarious,
right?
Like to one another. But like, you see the stuff that goes viral nowadays, like all these TikToks and all these dance routines and all these like stitched videos, and you're like, why couldn't that be me?
Exactly.
Like you got
the power of TikTok almost. It's like it's because I feel like to some people podcasts seem like daunting to start. It's like, oh, I gotta buy the equipment, and when in actuality it's like you could do it from like your phone speaker and put it on
sure.
anything. But I think that's where TikTok's so huge. It's like you download the app, it's literally free, and then 60-second video, 15-second video could change. One of them blows up, and the next morning you have like 100,000 followers. It's crazy.
And that's so crazy about the app. Like they really did hit the nail on the head with, you can edit the video with so many different ways. You can stitch it. They really did like make a better version of Vine. Like, were you ever on Vine?
We made like me and my buddy who we did the podcast with, we had a Vine account similar. We just enjoyed making content.
Yeah.
So I was on Vine and we loved it. But over time it just didn't last. But that's why I was like so pumped when TikTok came out, because it was it's funny, like Vine dies and now there's just Instagram as kind of like the number one player. And then so I always used to make content all the time anyway, but you had to do it you'd film it, you would airdrop it to your laptop, you'd put it on iMovie, you'd then like strip a song off of YouTube, you know what I mean?
What a process.
To edit this thing, export it, and then put it back on your phone to put it onto Instagram. Whereas TikTok's genius. They were like, oh, we'll take like iMovie and just make it so like easy to use, almost like foolproof, you know, and we'll be ready to rock. And
It really is. Like, you got
Yeah.
people that are like 13 years old that are editing videos better than I ever could.
Isn't it crazy? Green screen. You could do a green screen on I used to have a 10 by 13 foot green screen where you'd have to like hoist up the sides
Yeah.
for it and like.
Is that the video where you're like, I forget what the video was. I watched it and the background was heaven. Like,
Yeah.
oh, text your girlfriend back. He's busy.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Is that with the green screen?
So get this. That was through TikTok.
Oh my God.
With TikTok, you just need a blank background and not even actually, because I've done them like out walking and tested it out. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll just crop everything out behind you. Not a big deal. We're just wizards. And I'm like
technology has come so far. These freaking apps, man.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So do you remember like a specific video that you recorded? Obviously you said like you were at your gym. Was that the ones where you're like starting to do motivation, then you hop in your car and the song's going like in the background?
So it started like it was like the ghetto version of that. It was me like reclined in my seat in the car, procrastinating, not going to the gym. And then I would just like verbally say it. There's no music. There was no like, and that was the one that caught wind. The first one that like really, really blew up wasn't even like morning alarm related. It was what you think guests are going to do or what your mom thinks guests are going to do when they come over.
When you're running through the house, you slip on the carpet.
Yep. That was, and I like repost that a few times because it just does so well. But the first one was like, I posted it like 8, 9 o'clock at night, put my phone down. And at the time I had like maybe 10 followers on TikTok. Maybe that was probably really pushing it. And I wake up and, I have like no notifications. So I was like, well, still just nothing. And then I go to the app. For whatever reason, I wasn't getting the notifications. I go in the app and I had like, I think it was like 25 or 2,800 followers. So it's like overnight, I was like, ooh. And then from there, it like kept going all throughout the day. I think I ended the day there at like 15,000 followers from that one video. So
that's impressive.
Yeah. It was, so that was the first one that like really comes to my head of like I was, because I tell people all the time, like I used to post 10 videos a day and then collectively out of the 10, I'd maybe receive like 11 views, you know, like no one was watching any of my stuff. And it's just like the like holding the course.
Consistency, man.
Right. Like showing up every day, you know, and I was just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing like what would take off.
No, I love it. It obviously worked. Like you're almost at, you're going to be at 500,000 here yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like you find a niche and you naturally find a niche, and then people almost refer to your content as like home. Like the amount of DMs I get now of like, you know, I wake up with you every morning. It's almost like a morning, like if you talk to your parents that are like, I've been listening to Lauren and Wally for 40 years every morning.
Your like, household name here yet.
Yeah, it's like that, but for TikTok, you know.
That's jokes. You know, like you say with the video of you running through the house, it's just like such a relatable, like the relatable content. You know what I mean? Like people see the stuff on social media that's just my life is perfect. Look how amazing everything is, and like seeing the relatable stuff is usually the stuff that gets me to laugh. I wrote down a couple here that just killed me. Like when you're talking about the light fixture in church, do you have any idea how many times I've sat in a building in general and just looked at that huge ass light fixture hanging from the ceiling? And I'm like, that guy would not be here anymore if that thing fell.
I have a huge note section on my phone.
Yeah.
And like whenever an idea comes to me, like religiously, I take my phone out. Like in front, if I'm talking to someone one-on-one, I have an idea, I'll pull my phone out. And like stupid stuff like that. You don't even think about it until you're like actually in person. You're like, that would be troublesome if that beam fell.
Like not the smallest light fixtures that they hang in those places. Just crush a family of 3 here quick.
And then what do we do? You know, we just say, you know,
praise the Lord.
It's like we're already here. We just roll out the caskets.
Yeah, that's jokes. The other one was like your parents ever have a puke bowl and then it just ends up back in the cupboard, and it's so true. Like you don't think about it until you listen to that video, because then I'm like, it's been like a couple days and my mom made popcorn in that bowl again. Like What?
Right. That one, yeah. You know what's funny? I put that one out and I had that was a whim. I was like, they're probably gonna be like, what a weird family, like, yuck. Like,
No.
call Protective Child Services or something. And it turns out like millions of people were like, wait a second, was that like a 90s movement? Like they were like, yeah, just, use one of your finest bowls to handle throw up.
You sat there sick on the couch and your mom just kind of tossed the bowl to the side of the couch. Maybe even put a little bit of water in it if she was considerate.
Right.
But like,
oh my God, I haven't thrown up in a long time, but if I was to throw up in any bowl, I would burn it. Like I would bury it.
That's it. It's gone.
We're not going to reuse that bowl.
A freaking $5 bowl. We're freaking like, no, like we have to save this bowl. Like, this is our popcorn bowl.
What are we gonna have popcorn out of?
Oh my gosh. The other one was you're inside and you click the thermostat 1 degree, and then the dad's like, oh shit, and runs inside. Yeah. Like it's those ones that are just like make you think of your own life when they can pull you out of the fact that you're watching social media and just make you think of like, oh my gosh, like that has so happened to me. That's the ones where it like really pulls me in and gets me like interactive in it. Yeah. But you hit it perfectly with those ones. Fuck, they make me laugh.
It shows you like how we're from all over the place in the world, but yet like we're all so similar and like have almost a very for the most part have a very similar upbringing. With little niche things like that. It's crazy.
Exactly. Like, and talking to you, like my last podcast I did was with like a 17-year-old kid that lives in Delaware. Like I'm starting to like branch out to the States a little more. And he has a TikTok account, and he's had some TikTok accounts that have been removed just for like stuff that he posted didn't go very well. But regardless, he did the same thing where like he just post, and then he have a video where he just went from like 0 to 100,000 followers, and it was just it blew his mind. I can't believe that. I don't know if it's an algorithm or if you figured out any trick to this app. Like,
I honestly think it's. When you first start out, you just downloaded the app, you have 0 followers. It's posting at a minimum 4 times a day, like at a minimum, and doing that every day. My whole thought process was, okay, if one person finds me funny and they go to my page, are they gonna have other content to view that like keeps them on my page for a while, like keeps them scrolling? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 10 videos a day, and I mean, at the end of the end of the week, that's like 700 videos. It's like an ungodly amount of videos, like it adds up like just so fast. So it really, it's something that like I think consistently is key. Like you post every day, all day, and by the end of the month, you have like millions of videos for people to watch and see.
Do you have a hard time coming up with what your next video is going to be? Like I sometimes sit there and I just want to make an Instagram story constantly. I want to post 3 times on Instagram a week. Like I try and stay relative, but like 10 times a day, man, I would lose my mind trying to come up with things to like post.
Yeah. I did a lot when I was first starting out. I was doing like, I was more documenting like what I was doing. So I do like, at the time I was doing a ton of like flipping furniture for couches and stuff. Like I would document that. If like just all around bitch and throwback of a song came on the radio, I'd crank it and just film like whatever the like weird dance routine would be to that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely daunting, right? But it's like, for me, I love it. Like I always loved creating content. We were the kid. I have a twin sister and an older sister. We were the ones nonstop coming up with like dance routines, and with 2 sisters, you're forced to play like mermaids in the pool, it was.
I'm the middle child of two girls.
Yep. See, there you go.
Yeah.
So, so it's definitely daunting, but if you love it, it's like, I don't even consider it work, and now the weird thing is like brands will reach out, and I'm so bad. Like I love making content. I'm so quick to be like, yeah, no, all in, like, let's do it, without even like, because I don't view it as like work, it's like such a like innate thing that I enjoy doing. But yeah, I think starting out, the key is like consistently showing up every day, and then your audience will actually then find your niche, which was interesting. Like the coffee thing, for example, I started ending these morning alarms with and let's get dangerously, and I mean dangerously caffeinated. And then people were like, is this, at first it's like, is this merch? Can we buy this? And I was like, ooh, how do you do merch? So then I figured out like Google, like, how do I put stuff on t-shirts? Made that happen. And then over time, people were like, oh, can I drink this? Like, is dangerously, I Googled dangerously caffeinated coffee, nothing pops up. And I'm like, huh. I was like, how do you start a coffee company?
Exactly what I was gonna ask you, like because I did read the like bio on Dangerously Caffeinated's website where it said like it started off as a catchbuddy, and now you're selling coffee. Like, has that been going well? Sorry, just continue there.
It's been crazy. Yeah, it's so we started it. A buddy of mine from high school saw the videos, and he was like, "Hey, oddly enough, like I want to start a coffee business." And I was like, "This couldn't be." We were dying laughing. We were like, "We haven't talked in years," and now all of a sudden, like, as he wants to start a coffee company, I'm getting comments and DMs of like, "Where can I buy your coffee?" So the timing was the universe is so weird. Yeah, like. So we sit down, we catch up, we have drinks, and we were like, okay, how do you do this? And we both were kind of, he wanted to start the coffee company. I had kind of the upfront sales almost to people at least seeming like they're interested. So we literally were looking online at flights to go to like Colombia, and our first plan was like, we'll fly to Colombia, we'll find a roast master. He will teach us his ways, and we'll take his beans, and then we'll sell those beans. And then I was like, there's got to be an easier way. Like, we're gonna end up on like 60 Minutes.
This is like a fucking Tim Hortons commercial. Right, hopping on a plane.
Right. And then we think it's all fun and games till we're in Colombia and like get kidnapped, and now we're like, well, shit.
Damn it.
Damn it. I thought there was a 2% chance this happened, and it happened. You know, that's just, what are the odds of that?
Taking the odds.
And so we scratched that idea. We end up actually, oddly enough, finding, he's right in New Hampshire, a local, they're called roast masters, which was like a new term. And they like, I thought we were going to go there and he would like roast us on like our looks. Like it was like a Nick Cannon, like sick kicks. And I'm like, shit, this guy's good. And he basically imports all these beans from all over the world, from Colombia, Vietnam, Japan, Brazil, all over the place. And you literally go there, and it's basically like it's about the size of like a airport hangar, like a little, nothing crazy, couple bay garage almost. And you literally go, and along the walls are just labeled Brazil, Vietnam, Japan, and you go and literally scoop out the beans from each one, and you can mix different blends, and he'll roast them on the spot, and then. So we sat there one day for a couple hours, and we literally tried like 16 different blends. I didn't sleep for like a day and a half.
That's dangerous to go.
I redid my entire apartment. I was like 3 a.m. I was like, I could probably put the bed on the other side, pushing the bed. Neighbors were like, what's happening? I was like, and we narrowed it down to 3 blends we really liked. We took them home to friends and family. We did some testing with them and see what their response was, and then boom, we had our supplier, we had a roast master, and we had our blends. So we were ready to rock.
That's incredible. And like sales have been going well, like steady, like you guys are selling stuff.
Here's what's crazy. Here's what's so crazy about TikTok. We put in $0 marketing dollars, like absolutely zero. And we'll literally go through about 100 pounds of coffee every week, and it's all from TikTok. So it's been crazy. Wow. And two, what's funny about TikTok, which I think is one of the keys, like you build an audience, and now you want to monetize. And I think this is the disconnect with like the generation before us is like, there's no commercials on TikTok. It's all like very, people are selling things left and right on TikTok, but it doesn't pop up like an ad or feel like an ad. So I'll just continue to say in my morning alarm, like, let's get dangerously, and I mean dangerously caffeinated. And after I post those videos, we use Shopify as our site. You can actually map the sales coming in just from that video. Like, if I don't post any content, no sales come in. It's like so naturally, like people are buying, coffee from us organically, which is nice. So there's no ad dollars being spent, no marketing dollars.
That's incredible. Like that's the change in the world in general when it comes to advertising and like billboards and all this crap. Like everyone's on their phone nonstop. You find the app like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Facebook not as much anymore, but like that's the place to be.
100%. The scary thing is like, so I was toying around with like billboards and stuff like that. And I'm driving and I'm looking around. I go, even those driving are on their phones. Like no one's looking up.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time you're driving on the highway or you're in traffic, like look left and right. Everyone's on their phone. Like I started dying laughing and I was like, this is like, and they're probably looking at TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat.
For sure.
It's like, yeah, you're so right. The phones have like just changed the game for advertising.
It's just like, no matter who it is, like now we're starting at the age of like 13, some people are getting cell phones, and all the way up to my parents' age, who should not be allowed on Facebook, but they are. They are nonstop on their phone now, like dinner, like in bed. Like I'm not saying it's a great thing, but for advertising and for sales reasons, it is a great thing. Or if you are a social media influencer, it's exactly what you want, is everyone to be on their phones.
I didn't get my cell phone till 8th grade. That was like and at the time, my cell phone could do two things. You could call mom or you could call dad. That was it. That was like the two options. There was like no apps, no nothing.
I was 16. They made me wait till I was 16. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, yep. I'm turning 26 in October. So yeah, we're the same age. So it was the same thing. Like I had like my first ever phone was like one of the slides with a keyboard.
Yeah. Yes.
So I could text, but like I had a maximum amount of text messages I could send. Right. So like, and then like your minutes, it was like, why are you on the phone so long? It's like, mom, how do I reach people?
Like, remember back then too, if you had the Razor flip phone, you were like a god. You were like the coolest kid ever.
Like your parents got money, man.
And then if you had one of those Dukes, you were like a freak. Those little ones that like slip up.
Like you had to look cool doing it all day.
Yeah,
right. The thing out in a week. I remember having like the LG double flip or whatever the heck it was
called. Oh, yes. Yep. I would spend hours trying to figure out like how the science behind that flipology worked, But
it was such a big thing at that time in our lives, like having a cell phone. Like you had to have a cell phone. That's the only way you reach your friends. Like I remember that LG double flip, or whatever the brand was, but the flip twice. It was my grandmother's old phone, and it didn't work anymore. You could turn it on and play with it, but you couldn't text, you couldn't call, you didn't do anything. And I remember just taking that to school when I didn't have a phone. Like, yeah, like I got this double flip phone. Like it's a part of being cool in high school or middle school.
Oh man, not have a phone on you right now. I'd go into panic mode.
Dude, it's so weird because like I love taking that time where I put my phone to the side and don't look at it, just to like get myself out of like being on it for a minute. Yep. Like it is like my phone was dying. I was in Montreal like a couple weeks ago for a Habs game, and I show up and my phone's dying, but I want it for the game. We're going out to grab dinner before the game, but right across from the hotel. So I leave it in the hotel to charge. The entire time I'm gone, I'm like, every couple minutes, I'm like, oh shit, like I don't have that phone. Like you're constantly like, oh, I was gonna look at it again. Like it's just such a habit now. I can't imagine.
It's so true. I know. I don't know how people live before phones, it's just outrageous.
How do you do things, man? Like you print out a map? Like what the fuck is MapQuest?
Driving blows my face off for trying to figure out like, oh, I can get around town really well. But if you were like, hey, you need to get from here, Boston to New York, I'd be like Jack Sparrow pulling out a compass that like just keeps spinning. Be like, all right, here we go.
I know what direction it is,
right.
But how do I get there?
It's crazy.
Oh man, one of the things that always like is funny, like, and I started watching back through a lot of your content was that like you progressed into what like your whole like your whole speech was. Like it started off and it was just like the dangerously caffeinated. It was like, what's up? Good morning, you beautiful bitches. Then it was like minimal clouds, maximum sun. And then it was like, did you just keep adding to it? Like now you've got it down to like, just wing it.
It came you're so right. It like slowly evolved. And then I saw in the comments, people loving like certain catchphrases, like, clouds minimal, sun maximal, good morning, you bad bitch. Let's get dangerously caffeinated, like the quick weather check thing. And then like, So like, I was like, okay, but I still to this day, like I write nothing down, like however it comes out, it comes out. But somehow in my brain, the delivery ends up being, it's the same like chronological order, and it's flowed. And, yeah, it's almost like it'd be interesting now, like to see where it evolves to next. Like I think I'm like full. I'm at like max capacity for like that's you got 60 seconds to fill it up. But yeah, it like happens so naturally. And same with the coffee and the merch. Like I always joke about it. My own following created the merch and the coffee. Like if no one said, "Hey, is this on a t-shirt?" I would have never made t-shirts. Or if no one commented, can I buy this coffee? I would have never made a coffee company. Like it came, and it was so much fun to like work with my following to create stuff that they would enjoy. So it's been fun.
Now, like I know, like sometimes, like you said, like there isn't actual commercials on TikTok because it never actually feels like a commercial. Like I don't know how many times I've gone on and like that first like ad starts and it is a TikTok. But
Right.
at the bottom, you can click the link, and like you're like 15 seconds into it, and you're like, "Oh shit, this isn't even like this isn't like they're trying to sell me something here." Like it really sucks you in. Have you ever like? Is there any way for you to do that with your coffee company? Like, is there a way for you to create ads like that once you reach a certain following?
I don't know. It's so funny because like sales wise, it's all been organic. Like it's only coming from those morning alarms. Some stuff on Instagram and stuff, right? But we haven't. I think when we eventually it'll slow down, right? Eventually, like the tide will turn, and we'll probably have to get more creative and check out the actual like ad side of TikTok. But no, not yet. Like I don't even know how it works, to be honest with you. Like I haven't put in like any time thinking about that. It's always like, okay, what's the next like alarm? That's always been the mindset. So I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know how that all works.
That's how I started my following.
Yeah.
Like with a like I'm not big on TikTok. I don't even know how many people I have on it. I've had a couple of videos that go to like 3,000 where I just like show what I'm doing. Like this is my podcast gear. This is where I got it. This is my setup.
Yep.
I did some like where it first started with like a sponsor is like I was virtual golfing. I love the golf and I was doing virtual golf in the winter. And at the end of my video, I happened to catch a picture of beer that was a certain brand and they messaged me and was like, "Hey, like would you want to do would you want to let like have us sponsor an episode of your podcast?" And like they sent me some stuff, which was wicked. So that was kind of organic, but the following side of things was like, I went out and I decided, you know what, like I'm going to dive in the deep end with this podcast. Like I bought the expensive equipment. I bought the interfaces. I bought the recording equipment. Like I bought the editing software and originally like bought the table, bought the stuff for the podcast room so I could have a guest across from me. But then I started researching like getting more Instagram followers because like if I reached out to you and maybe you're a nice guy, but like if I reached out to you with 100 followers, you might be like,
right,
who is this guy?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I would think too. Like if someone reached out to me like, "Hey, can I come on the podcast?" and they had 100 followers, they might have a great story, but I don't know if like if they don't have a following to help me and I don't have a following to help them, like how are we helping each other kind of thing. So then I started paying for Instagram ads. Like I pay like, I think like around $100 usually gets me close to like 3,000 or 4,000 estimated followers.
Wow. Yep.
So started like investing in that because I'm like, you know what, like I like doing this as a hobby, and regardless, like same as you, like you love posting you like doing your daily content, you like promoting your coffee, you like doing that stuff regardless. But obviously, if there's a way for it to benefit you, that's a bonus. So that's when I started just saying like, you know what, like I'm investing in myself, no matter whether this takes off or not. I love doing this as a habit or as a hobby. But yeah, so I started investing into it and promoting on Instagram.
Check that out. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely play around with that. I think it's super valuable for sure. It's something we definitely got to get into. Yeah, I think it's a great point.
So what's your plans moving forward? You're going to continue to do the content every single day. Like I saw that you're on Cameo now. Like have you had people that want like that? I've seen a couple get posted where it's like, "Jess like got into nursing, like you bad beautiful bitch," and she's like, "Fuck yeah, like I love listening to this guy, like it's hilarious." Like have you had a lot of people reach out to you that way?
And again, another thing from the following, people were commenting like, "Why aren't you on Cameo? Why aren't you on Cameo?" And then my like dumbass just downloads the app, and I'm like, "I am on Cameo." It turns out you got to like apply to be on Cameo to actually get that like exchange. So I like figured out how to do that whole process, and it's been crazy. Like it's honestly been like 4 or 5 cameos a day will pop up on, and it gives you like a shot clock basically of like, okay, you have 3 days to complete this, or you have 1 day to, and then it counts you down too. So it's like constantly giving you reminders to like make the video. But I think next plans, like we're talking about doing a couple of actual brick and mortar, like dangerously caffeinated coffee shops to come like into Boston. We're trying to figure out like the logistics of that and check out commercial real estate right now is like so cheap in Boston because everyone's obviously like working from home and which is interesting because residential is like through the roof, obviously. With
okay, I was gonna say like residential here is ridiculous.
it's here, it's nuts too. But if you walk around Boston, like there's tons of commercial spots just abandoned that say available
Small
for
business.
yeah. So we're playing around with that idea. We'll see what happens with that. And then yeah, I mean, I'd love to get into. I've had a couple of coders reach out to say they'd want to team up to create like an actual like morning alarm app where you could like go in like pick through like the hundreds of different alarms I've done, but then also like tailor it to Cameo where you can get your own custom alarm to wake you up every morning.
That's a cool idea.
So we've been playing around with that, but for me, it's like the content's just so much fun to do on a daily basis. So I'll keep now. I'm like religiously posting like probably 2 to 4 times a day. It's cut down like a ton. But the whole ride of like seeing where this all goes has been like it's been hilarious already. Like it's still mine. We walk around town here and people will like actually stop and say like, "Wait a minute, you're that guy on TikTok," and so that whole experience is like just a riot to me. Like I'm enjoying like that.
That's got to be so weird though.
It's the most bizarre thing ever. I never know. My worst thing, I'm getting better at it, is I never know what to say back. Because it's in passing. We'll be on like Hanover Street. It's packed with people, and then someone will be like, "You're that guy from TikTok," like, and like I'm like I'm always like stunned. I'm always like, "Oh my."
I am.
Yes, I am. Like, I never know what to say back. Like, it's the weirdest change, but we're getting better at it for sure. We're getting more used to it.
Just like every time someone passes, like, "You're that guy from TikTok. You bad, beautiful bitch,"
Yeah.
you, and just keep walking.
Right. And then I realized, like, you almost can't have a bad day. And if they catch you, like, if you're walking in the rain, right? Maybe it's been a little bit of a bad day. And then someone's like, "You're from TikTok." You got to, like, pop out and be like, "You bet." Like,
Yeah, exactly. You gotta jump right into it.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting, but it's been fun. I enjoy like the whole interaction with it.
I love the idea of like a brick and mortar shop. Like it gives you so many more avenues. Like even if you were to create it, so like your fans and your following know where to find your coffee shop. Maybe like once a month you do like a live podcast in there. Like you sit down with someone, like maybe in like a closed room, but like a glass window or something. Just for like if you get big enough, obviously at that point you got to make sure that you're safe or whatever. But just in there, like recording a podcast, drinking your coffee, everyone can come in the coffee shop and watch it, and it's a really cool idea.
My dream, and it's funny, I drive my girlfriend nuts because we'll go for walks around the city, and whenever I see commercial property for lease, I'll do this to the windows and like sit there for like literally like 5 minutes, just imagine like what it could be. I would love to do almost like a Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory meets like almost like meets a bar stool where it's an office on the ground floor that has glass. You ever watch you remember TRL back in the day on New York City? It was like that talk show, but they'd bring like
you can see the fans from behind.
Exactly. And you can see
Yeah.
the fans from behind. I would love to start something where it's a glass building. It's on the ground floor, and people are right outside with like signs and banners. And then we bring in people can either rent it out as like a podcast studio, or we got a couple of different. We have like daily shows, like a morning, midday, and like a night show, and that are like get some big names in there that like will attract people to come on a daily basis. But that's something I'd love to create, like just a content factory basically for people to come and use.
And honestly, like it almost seems like as soon as you pass a certain level of success with like influence or social media, then like you're just wide open. Because when you're starting off like this, like, yes, I work a full-time job and I can afford to fund this. But when it gets to the point where like I'm not upstairs in a spare bedroom turning it into a podcast studio, and I have a designated place where like I show up, I work, like when I'm there, I can edit, I got all my equipment there, I can bring guests there, I can have people rent it out, all that stuff. Like it just makes it so like the world is your oyster, like essentially. Like once you get past a certain threshold where you can afford those like extra places to record and make content, and it just seems like you just got to hit that level where you can afford that commercial space,
Exactly right. So I think that's way down the pipeline. That's like a long-term goal of mine, but be on the lookout for a little content factory,
Oh,
So,
definitely, man. I'll be coming down.
yeah, I was gonna say you'll be my first call. I'll be like,
that'd
hey,
be hilarious.
yeah.
Just like 1 minute. Hey, I'm in Ontario. Hey, I'm in Boston. We about to record down here.
Right.
Like, the content is amazing. Like, have you ever, one of the things I kept thinking about when you're out, like you're on the rooftop, like it's almost like a parking garage rooftop or.
Yeah. So I live, I'm literally like, when I look out here, there's like the garden right over here. And that's on the corner of the garden. It's like right across the street from it. It's where I park. Yep.
So like, I'm just imagining you're just out there, like you're just like standing on the edge. You're saying like the USS, and then you're walking to your vehicle and you're getting in, you're yelling, and the door's open. I'm like, do you ever get like someone else that comes up on the roof and just like watching you scream at your phone?
I have been waiting. I almost might just set this up because I got a comment of being like, I would love to like run into you doing this. And I've thought about the idea of, so I film those like every morning. And it's around like 7:30, 8 a.m. ish. I'll film there when I'll be up there. I thought about putting a post out, making like a meet and greet, like having everyone like meet me there. And then we do like one big morning alarm, like together, but I've yet to run into like, I always try to time it for when it's like fairly empty. Like I go there, I work out in the morning, and then I go to the parking garage. No one's normally up there, but I've been waiting for the day where like someone's next to me and they're like, "Are you okay? Is everything good? Do you want me to?
You want me to call someone? Like,
I'm like, I'm fine. All right,
everything's okay. I'm just trying to wake some people up here. Okay,
I'm just pouring tears.
I'm fine. You're fine. We're all fine.
I'm fine. You're crying. I'm not crying, dude. Jesus.
Even if like you say like the meet and greet, even if you like got a bunch of people up there and got them to like be on the other side of your vehicle, and you just like out like day as normal, get in the vehicle, like have a good day, you bad beautiful bitches.
Yep. And then
just like fucking 100 people standing on the top of this rooftop. Oh, like you good, dude? Like everything all right?
That would be hysterical. Oh. Yeah, it's limitless.
I wanted to jump in just something real quick before we finish off here. Like, how did the pandemic affect you guys in Boston? Like, I'm in Ontario right now. Yeah. We're still like, I'm wearing a mask everywhere. I cannot eat in a restaurant. We're hitting stage 3 tomorrow, where you can eat inside, bigger capacities in like shopping centers, malls reopen. Everything is open, but with a capacity at that point. But everyone over here is kind of just like Alberta open, Saskatchewan open, British Columbia open. And we're looking at you guys like you guys are just like, yeet, like done, over with, no mask. Like, is that actually how it went?
It's literally how it went. Like, and so they made it for Massachusetts, went back first. And they were like, hey, we're done with like, any sort of COVID restrictions. And normally Boston would be a little later. That was like the big concern. And they're like, okay, we'll see what the state does. And then we'll open up the city independent. And not the case. They were like, yeah, we're going to open too. So we literally went from lockdown. We had like, I think it was 50% capacity in restaurants. And to then the next day, completely wide open. No masks, no curfew, no restrictions, no capacity limit. And it's been crazy ever since. It's like you walk around here, no one's wearing masks. Everything's back to normal. Like things are open. I'm right in the North End. So like restaurants are like flooded with people. Clubs are back open. The Garden, they were at like 25% capacity for a while. They're back open. So like, when there was Bees games going on during the season, like that was slammed. Celtics as well. Like, so it's really weird to be like, it's a breath of fresh air, honestly, to like.
Oh, for sure.
Back.
But Fenway obviously is open, full go.
Fenway's full go. Yeah, we were at a game a couple nights ago. Yeah, and you're sitting there. We're sitting there and we're looking around, and it's slammed with people, and it almost made it seem like COVID was like a bad dream that you just had in your own head, and you're like, there's no way we actually You did that thing, right?
Yeah. This thing's gonna kill you. It's airborne. Wear a mask. Let's go. Full blown. Like,
I'm sitting there holding a massive Fenway Frank. It's thing's so big you can like double Dutch with this hot dog. And I'm looking around.
I'm dreaming of this.
Did COVID happen? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy. Like Quebec opened before we did. They went into stage 2 before we did. And when the Habs were do you watch you're a Bruins fan, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say we're gonna be just this is Canada and all Canada.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, I'm closest thing, obviously, Toronto.
Yep.
My dad was a big Leafs fan growing up, and then I was like watching some of your original podcasts, and I saw the Bruins flag in the back. I'm like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're not talking about hockey.
I'm like, so I used to play football growing up, so I'm like, my number one's like football, but like the Patriots. Yep. But still a Beast fan. But yeah, it's I'm not like there's no when I people actually around here, oddly enough, you'll see like the Leafs jerseys and stuff, and it's like there's no real beef with me, at least. The other people around here, it gets ugly. But.
So like I said, like Quebec went out of lockdown, and I went there because you could eat in a restaurant, you could go to the game. It was 3,800 people were allowed in the stadium, but it was just so crazy because like I went to a game and it felt like COVID's over, even though there's only 3,800 people in the biggest NHL arena, which is 21,000 fans.
Right.
And then you watch the next game from home as they're in Tampa, and the thing, like, you couldn't walk. There's so many people in it. It's just like, how are we all in North America right now?
Is that crazy? Right. It's crazy.
Like, and I'm surprised that you guys reopened so fast too. Like, New York was absolutely atrocious, and they're full blown again.
Insane. Everyone's back. It's crazy. Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, how do we go from lockdown to the next day wide open? Just kidding. We're all back open. That was just wild here.
That guy COVID, man. He'll get you.
You got punked. That was all a joke. It was like,
oh man, and you guys went through so much during the whole thing. Like, you guys had an election during COVID. Like,
yeah, it was nuts. It was like a war down here at times. It was tense. It was ugly.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on in the world during this pandemic, especially like obviously it was larger in the States, but still so crazy to watch what we've been through in the last 14 months. Like,
I feel bad for our future kids. They're gonna have no excuse. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, we lived through. Granted, like every generation's got someone who gets to say they lived through World War II, which is wild. Obviously, COVID's nothing compared to that, but
for sure.
Oh man!
But we're a part of history, man. Like, there is that time where like you're a grandpa and you're like, man, like we got shut down, we got stuck in our house, we were wearing freaking masks.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't eat out at a restaurant.
Right.
Kids I couldn't see my cousin for like 4 months, man.
Yeah,
like,
brutal.
I was stuck with your grandmother for 6 months straight. I couldn't leave the house.
Like, you pull a war medal, you got a Purple Heart. Go.
We all get a medal to hang up in our house as we survive COVID.
A folded flag as if we served.
Man, I love it. I really, really appreciate you coming on here. Can you let people know where they can find you? Like, if they want to come see like the extremely decaffeinated.
Yep, dangerously caffeinated. You got it.
Dangerously caffeinated. Yeah, just completely 2 different words, but like, it's there.
Dangerously
caffeinated. Like, how does someone reach you on TikTok, on Instagram?
Yep. Social media is all the same. It's at Kevin Cooneyy with 2 I's, KevinCooneyy. And if you're looking for coffee, everything's in my link in bio, but you can go to the website too, www.dangerouslycaffeinated.com. That's where everything's at. Everything's linked up though to my socials, so super easy guy to find. And thank you so much for having me on, man. This is a blast.
No, for sure, dude. We'll definitely do it again. And if I do, like, my bucket list and our honeymoon, like my fiance is a big baseball fan as well. We were doing Washington, Baltimore, New York, and then ending up in Canada to watch the Jays. But on our list, and on my list right now, actually, for one of my bachelor party locations is Boston for next year. Yes. So if I come down, I'll definitely hit you up. Thanks again so much for coming on here. Like, do you want to sign us off? You want to give someone a little motivation for today?
Bet your damn ass I do. Hello, you beautiful bad bitch. You're looking at that Heart to Heart podcast, okay? Let it tickle your eardrums, would you? Maybe we sit back and relax. Maybe we don't. Maybe we slug back some coffee as fast as we can. Anywho, quick weather check just for you and your listeners. Oh, it's bitching clouds. Literally minimal sun. Literally maximal. You got it. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Would you throw it up? Lock it down. Let's have the best damn day of our lives, folks. Okay, this is heart to heart, shall we? Hugs and kisses from me to you. Love ya.
Dude, you're a freaking machine. That is proof, everyone. He does not need to write a single thing down. Is a freaking legend. Thank you so much, Kevin. Have a great day. We'll definitely do this again.
My man, absolutely great speaking with you.
Yeah, cheers.
Later, man.